Hello and welcome to another episode of Dinks with Kinks. Before we get started in tonight, I want to remind everyone, and I say everyone, to follow us on our social media, Instagram and Twitter at Dinks with Kinks. You get exclusive content there, like pictures from the episode, all kinds of crazy ass stuff that we post that we can't post because this is an audio podcast. I'll post it, but you won't be able to see it unless you go to our social media. I am John Dondero, and with me tonight, as always, the very animated Mr. Shep.
Good evening.
And the always lovely Miss Rebecca.
Hello.
How are y'all doing tonight?
AKA Lerao.
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, listen, I'm excited. I know I've kept y'all in suspense all week about what we're talking about. And today... Dang it. Okay. I tried. We are talking about suspension and all the forms of it. So I will say, trigger warning, we will be getting into some medical things during this podcast, but we're going to start out keeping it very light and kind of in the air. No, let's just say in the air. Yeah.
Okay, less than 2 minutes. Really?
I gotta get.
Is it going to be 1 a minute?
I've got to get him in before I start getting pun shamed.
Beyond reality.
Check out our merch store for our pun shame shirt. It'll be there eventually.
Until
Known some by is
tell our designer to not do it.
Assurance.
No, don't do that. So, have you guys ever heard of suspension before? And go ahead.
I have heard of it.
I've seen it in action in many forms and been involved in some fun ways into suspension. Yeah.
So I realized I was keeping our audience in suspense by not explaining what the fetish is. Suspension is being raised off the ground, typically hung from the ceiling in some fashion. And this actually boils down to lots of different things. Everything from what counts in this fetish, sex swings, rope bondage, the Shitari, sorry. I was thinking of the TV brand. I'm still thinking of TV brand. Shibari and straight up meat hooks, something out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre style. And we're going to get into all three of those.
Yay.
They'll get into you. They're not getting into me.
Oh, I did get into some of them. You hit the hooks, Mike.
Yeah,
so
you can sit you on a fish hook. That's the
I say we start small and work our way up. What do y'all think? Maybe
I feel like that's a good idea.
Break into
so the anal trainers start off small, work your way up.
Yeah.
Start small.
Let's start at level 1.
Work your way.
This is something I think we've all at least been familiar with: a sex swing. Particularly one, screwed into your beam. Let's get a raise of hands here. Who owns a sex swing? I don't know why my hand's raised. I don't.
I do not own one. I want one. I do. I want one really badly. I want one like so bad. So if anybody's listening and they feel the need,
I know a guy that might let you use one.
Oh, thanks.
So I've never experienced a sex swing before. Is it as fun?
I feel like it would be so much fun.
Is it as fun as a regular swing? Because I like to go swing. Like I like to go to the park and get on the swings and swing. Is it that much fun?
Oh, well, if we're talking that, then I've done that. I have done that.
I'm sorry, what? You have had sex with a kid swing at the park? You perv. Their children play there.
Well, then it's the same thing.
No, this was pre-children.
Oh.
Just saying. I had a misspent youth.
Misspent youth. Yeah, and I highly recommend if you're wanting to get into this fetish, this is a great starting place. You can find sex swings.
She wants to get started in that place again.
Yeah. And Shep, who installed your sex swing? Did you install your own?
Of course.
Yeah. You want to give us some tidbits on installing a sex swing, the do's and don'ts? Like, how do I put it? Should I just nail it into my ceiling? What's happening here?
You find the stud and screw it slowly.
So pretty much my weekends.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It took me a minute.
I was opening the door so I could
with
talk about my
anything
weekend
that is
plans.
going to be load bearing, as in bearing a body in movement. You'll definitely want to find the strong studs in your ceiling. Yes. And usually the swings come with the optimal size screw and such to use.
Well, that's good because I didn't want to buy a sex swing and not have any sex with it. So I'm glad it comes with a screw.
Well, and some that don't require screwing in the secure manner. You can get the sex swing that actually has its own base.
Oh,
like a regular swing.
Neato. So could I put this in my backyard next to my kids' swing set? Like they have their jungle gym, I have my jungle gym.
No.
Fair enough.
I feel like that would be a hard no.
Hard pass.
Hard no.
Okay, so what I really wanted to get
soft
into.
and swingy, Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to get into is know what you're doing before you purchase a sex swing. If you are unable to get to your studs in your ceiling, get one that has a base, or get somebody who knows what they're doing to install it, because the last thing you want to do is pull your roof down on top of you.
Or your apartment complex, or wherever it is.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're about to move out and you hate the place, or,
Sure.
you need to renovate.
I mean, if I had to destroy
that's
an apartment...
a fun kind of demo action there.
I was about to say, yeah, if I had to destroy an apartment, I feel like that would be the most fun way to do it. In mid-coitus.
Just don't forget to wear hard hats, just in case.
That's a whole different fetish. A whole different episode. So yeah, this is plenty pretty just run of your mill sex swing. They're very easy to get into. It's a great jumping off point to trying suspension and whatnot. I didn't make a pun there. That was a legit thing. Don't give me the look of puns.
I didn't
There was
do
no
anything.
puns. I saw the look of puns.
Maybe she was looking my way.
Nah, she was pun shame. That was a pun shame face.
Moving on.
So next, we're heading to level 2, rope bondage suspension. So
Time out before we move on.
yeah,
Why did you buy it, Shep?
Hmm?
Why did you buy your sex swing?
I'm an enabler. So I have many accoutrements to enable people to do things and such and stuff.
Oh, I
Experience
see.
things that they normally can't.
Gotcha.
That is me.
Now we're moving on. Now we can move
and we would have also accepted the answer to have sex in. Why did you buy a sex swing? Well, I was trying to work out my core, and you can get some great lifts off that thing. Yeah, the fuck.
No, actually, it is good to work for the core too. Yeah.
Oh, see what
Are
we're
you
learning
really
here?
question shaming me now? Right now? Is that what you're doing?
I mean, listen, this is becoming a podcast of shaming. Everything but kink shaming. We do every
there will
form of
never
shaming
be but
except kink shaming. Yeah, there'll be we tolerate zero kink shaming. No kink shaming. Check out the merch store.
Anyway, level 2.
We're going to get into a little bit of bondage. I mean, everyone's favorite subject, especially mine. I love bondage, but this is when you are, in fact, tied and mounted onto the ceiling, from the ceiling. Picture chandelier, only with your body.
But you're not mounting people on the ceiling. You're hanging them. Thus the word suspension, right?
No, that's true. You're right. Is this something?
I know, baby. I know.
I know. Since I'm pretty sure both me and Rebecca are pretty inexperienced when it comes to this, Shep, you have experience hanging people from your ceiling, do you not?
Not so much. I mean, I've done a tad bit back in the day, but since I can't do rope and all that kind of stuff very regularly, I can't really retain the knots and stuff, so not so much the suspension stuff.
I have actually done suspension bondage back when I was a bondage photographer. I mean, I didn't particularly do it, but I photographed it. I am not a rigger, can't tie a knot, so no one would trust me to suspend someone off the ground, but I did photograph it a lot, and it is a very intriguing thing to me because, yeah, you are kind of just suspended in the air, and you are, in fact, like, when you're in a sex swing, you're in a swing. You are sitting in something. Or when you're doing rope bondage, you are the swing at that point.
Or we can mix in a little transformation, and the person being swung becomes a swing, and the person sits on them and swings.
I have seen that, and that is cool. That's what I mean. Like, you essentially become a piece of furniture, a piece of decoration hanging from the ceiling, or said mounted thing. And again, follow all the safety regulations of making sure you're, hanging from a stud, not your drywall, because I'm just going to tell you right now, that's a bad way to find out.
Hanging from a stud means something completely different to me.
Again, it's my weekend plans.
We'll find you one.
One day. I've seen some really fun ones using a spreader bar, where the spreader bar is actually hanging, and you are attached to the spreader bar through your wrist, and then they lift your feet up into ropes dangling from the spreader bar, and then that's how they suspend you, and it's actually really cool, and you can do lots of fun.
I guess I can attach something to that spreader bar and hoist away.
You can.
We are teaching Shep new things.
That is an amazing thing. I didn't think I could teach Shep new things.
Well, I know nothing. You assume much. I'm always learning. But for the human furniture thing, they always had, furniture has all these cool names and stuff. So you can maybe do like French, like furniture de lahore.
De lahore. Well, if you ever wanted to get into the swinging community, this is a great way to start. Because you'd be a real swinger at that point.
I get shamed for my question, and you expect me to let that one pass? What?
Don't punch shame me, lady. Actually, another form of popular bondage with this is the hogtie. You're kind of already in a suitcase-like formation, and all you have to do is add the middle rope and hoist them up.
I feel like this might be only because I think it's beautiful. I was watching. I think it's beautiful. My biggest fear of if I were to be suspended like that would be like a shoulder or my hip getting dislocated, or because if not done properly, you could really hurt yourself. And not the falling part is sort of a given, but it's if you're up there and your entire weight is bearing down, and if you're not tied in a proper way, you could really rip joints and rip muscles, and I think that would be my only fear of actually participating in something like that.
We're actually you have a great segue to what I was about to talk about.
Oh, okay.
I have my whole risk section up and about.
You're welcome. I had no idea.
No, you nailed it. I literally scrolled down to risks, and you're like, well, this is what I worry about, and you nailed exactly some of the risks you have to worry about. It was once said by someone named Midori, the risk of rope suspension rank up there with heavy breath play. You don't think about it being as dangerous as it is, but it really is. With any type of like suspension, you run the risk of fall. First of all, like, yeah, that's the very first one, is either you didn't screw in the rigging right, and you could cause a fall, and especially if you're bound, you can't catch yourself. And if anyone's ever tripped with their hands tied behind their back, you'll know it hurts, really hurts. Because like a head first fall only takes a couple inches to paralyze you forever. You definitely want to know you are doing it correctly. So don't jump into rope bondage and suspension off the bat. This should not be your first rodeo.
I feel like this is one that you really need to go to a class or to a party where, if you're really interested in this, that is, you need to be with some experienced people first.
Yes, don't get tied up in the fun. Study all the risks first.
I quit.
I was about to say, you better not let him that fly, because I've nailed some puns tonight. And you're just going to let that shit lie around.
I didn't let it fly. Y'all are...
It can't fly when it's suspended.
We're very punny tonight.
You are very funny tonight.
The next thing, and this is very... People don't think about...
I had to take a minute to recover from all that pile of puns.
I understand. The less obvious dangers include nerve damage. Like you were saying, tied incorrectly, causing shoulder dislocation or some type, because you're essentially supported by your on your body. So if you're not tied properly, you can cut off circulation. You can cause nerve damage that you may not realize while it's happening. You may not feel it because you'll go numb, not realize you're going numb, and just pretty much killing parts of your body while doing it. So you have to be very knowledgeable on shibari before you go into this. So take some shibari lessons before you start doing rope suspension. Would you agree, Shep?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have to say specifically do shibari lessons. I mean, there are suspension specific lessons that don't go so much into the art level that shibari does.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for people that do want to stick with basics kind of thing, then they would want to go more towards those. Because like me, as I don't have the creative crafter side of the mind, the artistic levels of shibari would be way beyond me.
And another thing to look out for, and this is, it's very hard to extract someone from suspension if they're unconscious. Dead weight is a real thing. When people talk about that person's dead weight, the human body moves, like when you're lifting somebody, you're not aware of the fact that their muscles are reacting to you lifting them, and they're typically guiding. When someone goes limp, the entire center of gravity changes, and that person could hurt themselves. Okay. Yeah. I don't mean that kind of limp. So you just there are some very, very big cautions you want to take when doing any type of rope suspension. So be safe, kink responsibly.
And what is the number one accessory you should always have with you when dealing with rope?
Something to cut it with.
Scissors.
Sharp pair of scissors. Yes.
I was either going to say that or an inflatable landing pad.
How about no?
How about no, Scott?
We'll keep this stream serious. Serious information. Not fantasy world stuff.
Says the man who just did a limp joke? Really?
Yeah.
Who did a limp joke?
You did.
What,
our audience couldn't see. Yeah, the audience could not see. That's not fair. You can't make puns silently and expect us to let them fly and not call you out on them.
Nope, not tonight.
But yeah, definitely do this safely. Because I don't see anybody get hurt, and this is a very fun fetish, and it's very it's one of the things. It's easy to get into, but you have to do it correctly. We don't want anyone losing limbs, becoming paralyzed, or hanging themselves.
Actually,
in
it's
an improper way.
Not very easy to get into. It takes skill to get into it.
It does, but you can learn and you can experience it. Just do it safely. Mm-hmm. There's an actual name for nerve damage and like fainting and stuff like that. It's called harness hang syndrome.
Everything is syndrome.
Yep. Circulation problems, fainting, and recently recognized harness hang syndrome, which is like people who have damage, long-term damage caused by harnesses.
Oh, like
it's not just for this
skydivers or Okay.
Mm-hmm. But it can happen with this. Now we're gonna have some bloody fun. We're gonna talk about human suspension through not rope bondage, not a sex swing, but Texas chainsaw style meat hooks. This is one I very much encourage people not to try on their own under any circumstances. This is incredibly dangerous and typically used for art performances more so than sexual fetish. But I know several people who very into that fetish.
Yes, we know quite a few.
Yeah, Shep, have you ever experienced human suspension like that level? I mean, I know we have been at shows where they've had it, and we watch how it's done. But have you ever personally been a hand in it?
Well, no, I've never stuck a hand in it. I mean, I thought we were talking about meat hooks here. Anyways.
Yeah.
No, I've never been on the receiving end of that, but I've helped to participate and add some extra spice and stuff to them. Yes.
Yes. Those shows are very dangerous, and they are done by professionals. Every time we're there, there is not one but a staff of people there to insert these hooks into skin and remove them. It is quite a sight to see. It actually makes me squirmish. I cannot actually watch it. I'm one of those people who it looks like a scene from Hellraiser. It really does. Skin stretches a lot more than you think it does.
Or sometimes, in the cases we've seen, the skin doesn't move at all. So, I mean, because they sometimes do it in that deeper layers, and you just watch those people just stay so secure and fit to them. It's just, man. And envious of people that can do it.
Yeah, there is absolutely no way I can do this, and we're about to get into that. But I just want to cover. Yes, I have seen people put hooking bolts, and I mean like the stuff you attach to chains, heavy duty chains, deep into the muscle tissue of their partner's back, so they essentially have a hook on them, like they are like nothing bolted onto this hook, and you just click. And they are the harness. Like their body is the harness. And it's mind-blowing. And from the description I've gotten from people, it is not so much painful as it is pressure. Because when you get to that level of injury, you no longer feel, you're not having nerve issues, you're having pressure. That's what you're feeling. So, but I highly recommend. In fact, I want to say right now, big flashing warning, do not try this at home. Make sure you're in the proper care of professionals who know what they're doing. I have seen people get sutured up afterwards by an entire team of people. That was correctly and responsibly done. Do not, under any circumstances, try this at home.
Yes, too many people that like to experiment, they lose an ear or piece of a nose, or
A chunk
Your
of that.
entire back.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, no.
So after I have given that heavy warning, let's play a little game. Let's play the Would You game. All right. This is based off a show we have called The Would You Will, where we have guests come on and pretty much we spin the wheel of our kinks, and they tell us whether or not they would you. And we're going to play that tonight with you two.
Yay.
Let's start with Rebecca. We're going to go down the list.
Fantastic.
Would you try sex in a swing?
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%.
Okay.
I want one. I want one with the little. I
Don't
want
you
one like
mean-
a sweet.
Don't you want to recreate the Sex in the Swing again?
Well, I would like to have a sex swing for specifically that purpose. But
Would you hang it somewhere in your house and just keep it there?
yes,
Just
right there.
yeah. All right. Yeah, good deal. You
I have a
guests come
corner.
over. You guys come over. What's that? Oh, that's
Actually,
my lounging chair.
I could probably put it right over here. I have a huge walk-in closet. I'll put it in there.
No, you simply mask it with a fern when you're not using it.
Oh, I could get one of those little switch out chairs, little bubble chairs. Yes, but yes, I would. I would absolutely.
Shep, I'm going to forego you on that one because I know for a fact you have, and you do, and you own one. So I'm going to take that as a yeah, you would, right?
Maybe.
Would you do it from the other end? Would you be the one in the suspension? That's a good question.
Well, I mean, why not? Because when I'm swinging, it's easy for them. I mean, when their head's down, they're... Oh, no, what? Sorry.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to take that as a yeah. He would try that. Okay, cool.
Okay.
I think I would too. I'm down for both sides of that coin. All right, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Would you do rope suspension?
I would actually. I would not try it with anyone that didn't know what they're doing. I am not about that game. But I would.
Of course,
I think it's.
There goes me.
Yeah. I think it's very beautiful. I do. I think I would. I think it's as a sub. That's very again takes a lot of trust and it takes a lot of it's very freeing. I feel like it would be very freeing, like to hang there. Yes.
Like a pretty little flower.
Oh,
hanging
Like a little
there.
bird. Pretty little bird.
Pretty little bird hanging there? That sounds kind of sad, actually.
it does. I mean, you hang a fern, don't hang a bird.
Yeah, right?
That is not okay. Anyway, continue.
Shep, what about you? Would you participate in said kink?
I'm going to have to partly towards a no. Not my preference.
Fantastic. I don't particularly like being tied up, but I think I would participate being the person enjoying the person in rope suspension. I do enjoy watching that.
But that's not very surprising, though.
No.
Neither one of you. That's not very surprising.
And when that falls into my issues with bondage, I don't like being trapped.
I don't mind being tied up.
Yeah,
I just don't like
I'm
being
not a-
tied down. I think that would be the only thing that would bother me. Is I like being tied up. I don't like being tied down.
Technically, you would be tied up.
Yeah, like ultimately up.
Yeah.
So I think that would be my only hang up.
Yeah, literally.
Well,
hang
yeah,
up.
that would be the hang up, yeah.
Yeah.
Rebecca,
Oh, see,
stop
look,
these puns. You
I can do. See, I can
You're-
do it too.
You know what makes your puns the worst? Is you're not intentionally making puns. It's just happening.
See?
I
See,
work
now-
hard on my puns,
now we
and you're
need-
just nailing these puns accidentally.
And now we need a new logo for her. See, I can do it too.
I can do it too.
And just with
Alright.
that face and a more digital logo, yeah.
Now, Rebecca, we come to our third and best option. Would you participate in a little game I like to call "We Have Such Sights to Show You," We open this little puzzle box. It goes up. It things. This pin-headed dude comes out, and then suddenly you're hanging from the ceiling by meat hooks. It's a movie Hellraiser. You're not getting my reference. Google it. You'll love it.
No, getting the reference. You lost me at shite. I was like, what?
Sights. We have such.
You didn't say.
Okay, listen. I have a speech impediment. Okay.
We're getting off topic.
Shite. I was like, we're going into that.
So for all of the rest of us who don't get the reference, so somebody hanging from meat hooks from the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You wouldn't try it?
No. And here's why. And not because it's because I find the human form as it is very attractive. So to hang something, to stretch something like that, it is not appealing to me because I find the human form, and I don't mean like in a perfect way, like as in the, buff guy, but the human skin intact, the human body as it is, I find that attractive. So I would feel like hanging in the stretching, that is just not.
Have you ever seen Men in Black?
Yeah.
The first one where he's like, and he sucks his face.
Yeah,
that
actually,
is that better?
I was like, yeah. So,
what about you, Shep? Is this something you would attempt or to try to experience?
Oh, no. Wouldn't be for me. I'll stick to the level that I am involved in it these days already.
Yeah, that's a hard no from me. I have no issues with other people doing it. I cannot observe it without getting the hairs on my skin rising and just incredibly uncomfortable. And I have much respect for the people who do it. By no means kink shaming, but I'm not going to be in the room when that happens. Yeah. I've had to be in the room. I have filmed them doing the whole process, because back when we used to do events, when I first started, I was the film crew, and we filmed every step of this, and I was visibly uncomfortable the entire time. So that's a hard no.
I wonder if you ever captured any of my interactions in those things. Not possibly one of our. I will say possibly our camera crews, because the minute those shows start, I'm outside. I'm just like, all right, guys. Well, you guys get all the footage you want. I'll be outside. I think the first experience was an event you weren't at, to where they had the female suspended and swinging back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept making sure to swing her my direction, so anytime she was near me, I would be flogging her.
Nice. And I do believe I know the girl you're talking about. She does a lot of the suspension. Yes. Very, very awesome lady. She is fantastic. But. And
you may have witnessed the second one, where...
No, I'm telling you, I witnessed none of it, because the minute those shows were out, I'm just like, taking my break.
Well, the film crew might have, because it
was I would say film crew, yes.
Yes, definitely the film crew, because that was a fun one. I think it was a birthday request from them, to where I was actually laying on the floor, and every time she swung above me, I was flogging. Yes, you remember that one.
I remember that one. I remember being told about that one, and I remember purposely avoiding it during the editing process, and someone else edited all that footage, because I saw that clip and I was like, I'm going to take a big no. But what I will take a big yes to is it's time to spin our wheel. See what we're talking about next week. I'm excited. You have any? Let's just call out some random predictions. What do you think we're going to be doing?
Oh, who knows?
I know. That wheel has a mind of its own. Let's go.
It does.
I can't remember all the stuff that's left on the wheel.
There's a lot. I keep adding stuff to it too.
Maybe electroplay. That would be interesting.
All right, guys. Well, next week we're going to do something a little different. We're going to get a little free form with you. Next week. No, next week we're gonna kind of just have a palate cleanser, as it were, to kind of touch base of where we're at and what we're doing as a podcast. Give some of our personal opinions on stuff. maybe that's not related to fetishes and kinks. Maybe we'll just talk about sex and, our opinions on various forms and types of it. So something a little different next week. Oh, you know what we should do?
What?
We should have our vanilla episode where we talk just about sex. Not kink, not freaky.
I like it. I like it.
Because we don't kink shame, and we definitely don't kink shame vanilla.
No, and you always have to start with the basics. I'm just saying.
And Shep went limp. That's cool. It's all right. Listen, Shep, we can have vanilla sex. It's cool. It has its place in the world, and we enjoy every form of pleasure, not just the freaky kinky kind.
I mean, we love the freaky kinky kind.
We really do.
Don't get that twisted.
No, but with this podcast, the one thing I want to do is not make people feel like we don't appreciate every aspect of this. So next week is our vanilla episode. We'll call it Vanilla Latte.
Vanilla wanna latte?
I'm
Vanilla
done.
wanna latte.
I am done. No,
Good.
y'all don't pay me enough. Oh, good. Really?
Good.
Really?
Because it's the end of the podcast. If you were just beginning, you'd be right here at the end. So it's good that you're done because it's our time to say goodbye. Before we do, though, I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media, both Twitter and Instagram, Dinks with Kinks. I will be posting pictures of various forms of suspension, at least what I can get away with. And you can get all kinds of cool merch from us, everything like that. So just check it out. I am one of your hosts, John Dondero, and with me as always, the resident pinhead, Mr. Shep. Pinhead, as in the guy from Hellraiser, because he has this suspension stuff. None of y'all are getting my movie references. It's Doug Bradley. He's awesome.
And with us, our wonderful resident Dom, Shep.
Have a good evening.
And I'm Rebecca, and I hope you have a great evening.
Why do y'all guys pick on me so much?
You leave it open.
We almost forgot 2.5 though. The anal hook.
All right, that's for a whole different episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.